February midpoint, near midpoint. January is a bit top heavy, whereas February feels like you're midway through it if you complete the first week, which is where we are now. So this one falls slightly early with the rough intent of a monthly update. At the beginning of creating, updating was kind of regular throughout any given week due to lots of particles to be sorted. Your chaos organizing itself as you invent ritual, in essence. And you take a step back out of that process as you go, realizing what's been organized, what it looks like in the organized state, and what it tells you about the ritual thereof. This is the February update, framing what was realized about this year serving as the vacation year. What I wanted to say is to describe today through definitions of the activities that I'll be engaging, as if to present them one after the other as streamed activities. So we're in the first one now, which is tea. I don't happen to have tea, but this is the tea phase of the activity sequence. So the first part was full idling, no conversation, just the thoughts coming through and forming a conversation about to start to be spoken about the activities. So the first activity is tea, and I'm in my activities room, just observing the overlook. When one peers into big structures that don't conform to the box of houses paradigm that we've been conditioned to, even though these box of houses structures to me resemble more of an institutionalized subservience, in that the fee for rental is the institution you're particularly subservient to. But you peer into large structures that aren't like that, like cathedrals and libraries, and there doesn't have to be a purpose per se. But these structures are generally gathering places meant to revolve around an event where there's a period of it's not happening yet. Okay, now it's happening. Now everybody shows up and it's happening. You peer into these mega structures, as it were, and I feel something early in my awareness of being. This must be the site of the first actual school, which happened to be I believe it was called St. John's. So it was their preschool organization. But I have this secret area memory with a kind of a light blue carpet tone impression, like light blue light flowing through the window areas, such as implied in overcast but not too overcast. Lots and lots of blue steps, they also defy what I had known as staircases inside of a house. Much wider, many more. The chamber containing the steps has an openness or vastness, like ascending these steps was somehow boundary dissolving to the child mind. At the time I experienced it, and the secret area is somehow where you arrive up the steps. I don't have much of a direct memory of that, but I might imagine it somewhat like the space I'm in now, only not a rectangle, and not populated with any desks, chairs, or anything. It just kind of like a completely whole space coming up to a window, but where I'm a child-sized human in this setting, I'm not necessarily seeing out the window. It's as if it's maybe there for the stance I'm in now. It's just standing, but I'm standing at a wide window that is the entire span of the room's walls to the ceiling, from the windowsill ledge where I've placed this recording input. The phone's sitting in front of me on the shelf, the wall shelf, let's call it. It's made of wall, but it stops where you begin having window and serves as a shelf at the stop point. So the window in this secret area might have been lookoutable by the 6-foot-tall looker, but not the child-sized one. That's my best reconstruction of the room. Up the steps in this blue place. I thought of it or think of it as a holy place. But being able to realize that's how I thought of it, or to be able to say some sentences about, well, so what are you saying? What's holy place saying? It's saying that it's kind of hidden, but nothing really stops you from going up. Just that you would need to know you're on your way there. You would need to have some idea of, what door is available to you, versus which doors are going to be impassable. They're going to be locked or secured in a way that you can't just come and go. You're going to draw questioning. The secret area implies if you know which door to use, you are able to simply go there, and no one would encounter you. You wouldn't encounter no one except another doing what you're doing. So it's a secret area in that aspect. The Zen master, in religion of no religion sense, is someone who looks exactly like a common idiot, only he's actualized the no religion holiness. One in this position is undetectable except to another in the same position. There's no perceiving of it except if you are already seeing it, as in being there and seeing it. So two who are there seeing it can recognize each other, but everyone else doesn't know them from the common idiot. In the population rather is what I was trying to say, not citizen. He looks just like the common fool to everybody. So you can't detect it. He's literally undetectable, except by others who have realized it, who are also there at the top. So the secret area feeling said something to me outside of my language or any cognition layer whatsoever. So it became known to me at a level of I didn't know that I knew. About authentication. Me standing in a place and saying, hello? Is there anybody else here who actually gets this message? Is there somebody who's aware that I'm saying hello? Is someone there? Your secret area conveys that with architecture, and it's the defining object in my current creative practice or my activities. My relevant activities are wholly described by the architecture of the secret area and the associated architecture of the ascended person who's chosen to go there, knows where to go when choosing to go there, or can find his way even if he doesn't know why it works, it just works. And who, in doing so, you only are encountered detectably. You leave no trace or are undetectable except by others doing the same thing. Others doing it also can see you, and you come across them. And you don't come across anyone in your way opposing you / pressing on you. The image of the authoritarian is the opposing on the other end of this polarity. The image of the authoritarian is the thing on the other end of the secret area scale. The one who tells you you aren't allowed. Or somehow presses on you. The person violating peace, the person acting violence, the person who becomes disinvited by one doing the actual samurai profession. The samurai profession is simply disinviting those who press on the peace, on the well-being of others. So they become disinvited. They're not included in they're not included in any way in the actions that are relevant to the samurai, which is... The name for that I have is education. That's what the samurai is pursuing. So his room, his house is the schoolhouse. And the person, the job or the profession, the one thing he does as someone who swears off coercion is that he disinvites those who exhibit coercion and don't stop if when asked, and disinviting those whilst protecting vitally everyone else who is not enacting coercive behavior. They're invited. Now, curiously, I model this idea, this samurai role, through the frame of Secret Room, or No Religion, Enlightenment, versus authoritarian and institutional servitude, institutional coercion, in a sense of the message of Jesus, the actual message that was just intolerable to an authoritarian social order, that you should love everyone, that the human group is one family, they're all of a divine somethingness that is held in common, that can't be assigned to any individual or deity whatsoever. So Terence McKenna spent some highly valuable pondering on this, on the talk of God thinks, man knows. But in essence, you get the core teaching from Jesus, just represented wholly by the mythos, by the story in a Jesus tale, is that he's saying, my friends are the lepers and the harlots, and why are you guys treating them like they're worth nothing? He was saying everybody's allowed. His one instance of samurai rage I hold as sacred to the no religion enlightenment is the fury at the money changers, those who were essentially rigging the monetary flow, raging at them for the institutionalism of that coercion, of that failure to use money as it actually functions as a technology, which is to express the value, the meaning of each person whose voice is meant to have impact and have evaluation. How it does so is through in some sense, an expression of purchase, an expression that's done with money. To act out a purchase so long as there is a seller, so long as there is something to purchase available, there's a supply. And an equilibrium is found there when you have an anti-coercion culture, when the language the reality is made of doesn't accept oppressing and bigotry and the absolute nonsense that somebody or anybody could be better than any of the others. Non-equality, in other words, the thing that is somehow essential to human social order function. I'm not exactly sure what that sentence means. It's just, it seems like humans cannot operate without falling into a non-equality hierarchical procedure pattern. But if you successfully inhabit a culture, a reality made of language that is for partnership, not dominator paradigm, you're looking at money that represents the voice of every person that's meant to be able to be heard, and say, yes, you will be heard. This monetary flow recycles once a month, and so therefore in each cycle of our clock, of our people time clock, which is the month, basically, I mean, we've got 12 of them. It's the calendar month, like we have 24 of them for the hour, or 12 2-hour periods when I think of how I'm going to plan activities. Each month you would recycle the money, and you would then say your voice is heard regularly, not just on special occasions, not just the holy day once a month, or a few times on some of each season. You have the voices of everyone, at least symbolically speaking to the equality, even if there are certain people, the celebrities, who are raised up as influencers just because what they have to say is so damn potent and so refreshing in whatever sense that they resonate. That's separate from monetary. In that just has to do with what information are we exchanging? What's our noosphere? What's the buzz that's happening? What's our viral information? How's our memes flowing at the moment? That's how you're witnessing celebrity. But monetary equality would be just a start point, and then the money would flow out where we're choosing, and our voices would become illustrated with the action of our commerce. And so those two conclusions come together, like they mutually arise. Once I get to samurai profession, culture of partnership, of anti-coercion, of recognizing that the dominator pattern kills us and it doesn't build us at all. I've got all of that. It all mutually arises with the concept of the no religion enlightenment, and the secret area versus the authoritarian, the spaces we can't get at because an authoritarian is running it coercively. So the T activity takes place inside of your secret area, like feeling here. But I've translated that into my peace room. So peace room activities are communication. You can have silence, you can have nonverbal communication with oneself. That is essentially the T phase, where before you start talking, you're experiencing that. There's not another speaker there. You're not speaking, but your thought machine is speaking. Your thought spirit is flowing. So you're allowing and observing what are your thoughts. And so T starts all the other activity sequences. You wake up, presumably. You come from sleep, from non-consciousness and variated consciousnesses into wakefulness. You transition toward the time it takes to acquire the tea or walk to the tea place. That's what I just had. I had a several block walk here, and I didn't have tea, but I did drink a food beverage. No, not soup. But tea, you start there and you get a conversation. Well, you don't always get a conversation, because you might just be still experiencing the resonance of previous conversation and nothing particularly fresh comes up. It's just simply the conversation you're in at the moment, and it hasn't subsided yet. Its wave is still waving up. But so then after tea, I'm going to write this out. I'm going to create a written activities thing for kind of like the stream sidebar, and probably just make an image out of that. I'm not going to turn the stream on at the moment, but I am going to stream a couple of games after that, probably Age of Hell and then Diablo 2. And then I'm going to stream a true sitting meditation, just chatting activity for the following 2 hours. These are roughly split into 2-hour blocks, but I've got I was just under 5 hours timer. It's probably getting closer to the 4-hour mark, so I only have room for those 2-hour blocks before the next activity after that, which is to walk back down to parking and look at possibly some work, if any comes in. So that'll be like a work block, which is like an intermission. Work is somewhat of a holy activity after you become capable of designing the schedule, of choosing whether you're going to engage in the work, while understanding you might not get any worth doing, so it might just be a waiting room where you're relatively idle and don't start anything particularly involving that would be too hard to put back on pause and interrupt to interpolate it between the work actions. And that's about all. Like that's all the comments I can put on February's update. These should come about once a month because I'm seeing these conversations flow in about that amount of speed. They kind of trickle and have a variety of waves that all rise and define the one conversation pattern of each of these waves. And then the next one will arise, once that month-ish worth of conversation plays itself out. I can create the update. I've created the streams or writing in the channels that go with it, in the whiteboards, as it were, and then I can make the next update. So that's the update for February, and that's going to be the close. I'm going to stand here for another half hour or something, maybe sit down for the close of the tea time, and then we'll do the game and the sitting streams.